Grandmasters Mixed quarterfinal action coming at you from the 2024 World Master Ultimate Championships here in beautiful Irvine, California. Great Park Soccer Complex. 301 here with Danny Proby. Excited for this great matchup. We got Dial Up from North Carolina, Notorious Old from Ontario. So a U.S.-Canada battle. This is a little bit different because there are club teams, not countries, in this division.
Yeah, I'm really excited to see this matchup because, as we said, they're club teams. They get to practice together a lot. They've gone to tournaments together, so I think it's going to be an incredible game.
Different paths to get here, of course. One team having to get a bye into the quarterfinals, another having to fight through the pre-quarters here. And looking at some players to watch, we're going to start with Notorious Old. That's Hillary Blackett. 12 goals, no assists, so you know she's hunting for the scores right now in the end zone. So watch out for number 2 for Notorious Old there in Hillary Blackett. Now looking at the other side here, we have Dial Up Tom Ditchfield, number 24, wearing the 2-4 jersey. Got already a double-double, Danny. 12 assists, 10 goals. Plays on their O-line, so you know he's going to be a big part of this team.
Yeah, I'm really excited to see this matchup because I've seen one of these teams in particular play quite a bit in the local scene, and I know that they like to boost it long, and that makes for very exciting ultimate.
Excitement abounds here as Grandmasters Mix. This is our first coverage of that, so we thank you for tuning in wherever you are. Maybe you're in North Carolina, maybe you're out in southwestern Ontario or somewhere else around the world. We, of course, thank you for tuning in here. Dial Up in their white jerseys, looking like they're going to start on defense. And something unique to the mixed game that's come about the last few years is the ratio. So, Danny, why don't you, in case people are new to the mixed scene, what's the ratio about?
So, whenever we have 4 women matching players on the line and 3 male matching players, the women matching players will be the pullers. And when you start the game, you have a selected gender match. So in this case, we have women matching. So the next 2 points will be men matching dominant, so 4-3 that way, and then it'll be 2-2-2 after that. So it is something that coaches have to keep aware of. We do make mistakes sometimes on the field. We might see it even today, but we'll do our best to keep it in line.
We're underway here. On offense is Old. Brianne Root, otherwise known as Bree Root, with the disc. Going to be a big key to this offense as a handler. Might go every other as number 10. Has the disc right now. Root shot going up, and Vesley trying to make a play. Carly Vesley, and there's going to be a foul called.
That throwing up, it looked a little bit like both players were a bit shoulder to shoulder. There's definitely contact, but I'm not necessarily sure who had that first underspace. But looks like there's a turn anyway, so we're going to get to see the D-line offense going the other way.
Dial Up's going to, let's see what they can do here in white. They're going to boost it long right away. And a huge grab to get this game going. That's Grant Gardner.
As I said at the beginning, I fully believe that these two teams would be boosting it deep and allowing for some big sky balls, so they did not disappoint on point 1 of this game.
The long ball starting things off here. Dial Up pretty excited. Let's take a look there. First, the turnover, miscommunication on the reset a little bit.
Get that nice outside in edge. What I like about these throws is that the defender is kind of having to move backwards and jump, and that is quite a hard position to be making that play from. So if ever the defender is on that inside lane, if you put it up with a bit of edge, kind of like a fade throw, it does make it a lot easier for the receiver to peek it and attack and get that sky ball for the break.
Rim Vilgalise, the one on the assist, played his college ultimate with UCSB on the Black Tide.
Roll Tide. Is that right? Is that wrong?
Wrong school, but we'll take it otherwise. Maybe there's some Alabama fans in the audience.
All right, we're getting a look at Megan Doyle here on the sideline with the crutches. I just spoke with her before this game as I was sprinting over here to the commentator's booth for my game. Apparently she tore her plantar fasciitis.
That is correct.
I've never heard of that, so big loss for that team.
Big coach there, Coach McMaster at University of Hamilton, Ontario, to 3 straight university titles. Havercroft, is he going to get there in power position? He does. Matt Havercroft now has Hillary Blackett, the player to watch, going deep, but instead had to get himself back in bounds. Danielle Thorson, who's played Capitals in the past, lowercase. Going to be the key on this line. They're going to run a little bit different than dial-up. Dial-up goes with a traditional O-line. Old instead, as we see a turnover from Emily Atkinson on the drop. They're going to run more just pods going directions. So a little bit different strategies from both sides. Pat Hard now had it in power position, and it's going to keep things moving forward here for dial-up. Thought that was going to sail high, but it's going to be reeled in by Enstrom. That's Cece Enstrom. A little 2 versus 2 battle. Not in the end zone quite yet. It's a thicket of players there, and a cluster leads to a pick call.
You kind of see that setup was going to be just inviting Fix to happen. Everyone's just excited to kind of jam it in. Totally understand, but pick is called.
Nick Dunn back now. He's going to reset it. Finding Leah Barry. Barry spinning around, needs something. Nice little nifty backhand. And don't celebrate yet if you're a dial-up fan, because there was a pick called. So this throw's going to go back. Still not in. And now it's a second straight break for this dial-up side. Pat Hard on the reception.
2 breaks to start this game. If you're dialed up, you must be dialed up right now and dialed in.
Dialed in, dialed in. That's what they're saying. That's got to be their cheer,
they've got
right?
to cheer, absolutely. Do you think Notorious' old cheers like old, old, old?
Maybe it's OLD, OLD.
Maybe.
But dial up is right now is dialed in. We're going to say that. I know that is a pun, but we're going to have to go with it here. Ryan Bell on the assist.
Something I like about, as a thrower myself, Theo, you're a thrower too. Maybe I shouldn't say that.
I mean,
I'm not a bit of a stretch.
I'm not not a thrower, not an accomplished thrower like you, Danny. So
well, I throw it to the ground a lot. But anyways, so if I'm a thrower and there's like a pick call or something and the play's worked, to have the cojones to throw that same throw again and have it work is kind of a point of pride. Even if the throw might not be open the second time, you do see a lot of shooters want to shoot the same shot again. And I like it. I like that moxie.
Speaking of moxie, right now, this old team needs to dial in some moxie, because right now they're facing a 2-0 deficit. They started on offense. There's a lot of momentum on this dial-up side. They didn't have to play that extra game. That can affect things, right? Just extra mileage on these Grandmasters players. For those who don't know, and you probably do if you're tuning in, but hey, we got to let you know anyways. 40 and above for male matching players, 37 and above for female matching players. So that's the age group we're looking at here. We see a lot of kids running around.
How old are you?
I don't want to say on air. I don't want to give that away. Masters eligible. I'll say that.
But not Grandmasters eligible.
Definitely not.
Next year I'm Grandmasters eligible, so these teams shout out if you want to pick up a player from Vancouver.
Okay, there you go. Little audition. Bill Westlake here, midfield. Being marked by Jay Carter. Now it's up. I was going to say his nickname, but it's Louis Philippe Blouin, otherwise known as LP Blouin in Canada. Root. Blouin just taking chunk yardage here and absorbing the contact. Going up the line looking for his former Hound teammate and Bill Westlake, but it's taken away by Jay Carter. He's going to do the finger wag there.
Not in my house. I think that's what that means. So a third break chance for dial-up here to start this game. Notorious has got to start probably working a bit harder to get that disc off the sideline. I think their timing's a little bit off, but once they figure that out, I think they'll be able to convert on some of these offensive chances.
It's been 3 offensive points, and it's been 3 consecutive turnovers. So perhaps, of course, it's sunny skies here, but perhaps the bright lights of the stadium. We talked about this yesterday on the broadcast as well, as we see a turnover from Dial-Up. The wind plays a little bit of tricks in kind of that domey aspect of the stadium field.
It's an absolute swirl fest in here. If you've never played in a stadium, you have no idea. A throw you can throw, you'll be like, oh, that's a perfect dime, and it just gets picked up and carried or thrown around. The wind direction also changes mid-game. It's absolute insanity. On the doorstep here.
Heather Neary finding Carly Vesley for the score.
All right, Notorious able to take a little bit of a breath now. Okay, we're on the board. We can relax. We know that we can punch it in. Now they get their D-line to get their first look.
That was 2, as Danny mentioned, the ratio, 2 consecutive male matching points. So now it's going to be a female matching point, a woman matching point, with a woman matching puller as well. Curious to see who gets those duties. I suspect it might be Danielle Thorson, but there's also some other big throwers out there for this old team.
One thing that I noticed, or I started doing this year because I coach in the mixed division also, is I started tracking my D-lines, because I have very different types of D-lines, when they would get the breaks in all of our events, what the gender ratio was. And often, like, one gender ratio was better for one D-line and one gender ratio was better for the other D-line. And I just thought it was an interesting thing that I'm not sure a ton of mixed teams think a lot about. So maybe your zone line is better if it's more male matching, your person D-line is better if it's more female matching. But tracking those types of things over events can be really useful.
This is why the Danny Proby's in the booth with us. Bringing her extensive knowledge. Going to be coaching the U24 Canadian mixed team in 2025.
AKA the best team in the world.
There you go.
Nice cut.
That was Marja Grillo with the disc, as things moving quite quickly. Chris Church getting things over. And this is the type of fast-paced offense you like to see if you're a Dial-Up fan. They're just making the defenders on roller skates right now. Things settling down here with Jenny Newby. Sasha Resnick doing things forward. A bid that comes up empty for Kelvin Journal. High throw, and will be taken away by John Eric Party, excuse me. So that's the first turnover, and well, this is the first offensive point for Dial-Up. Emily Atkinson has Parties going deep, and is that bookends? It is for number 81.
A perfectly weighted throw to that back corner. I am very struck by how much both of these teams move in their offense. I'm exhausted watching them. No player is stationary. Every single player is involved, engaging their defender on both sides. So it's really going to be a battle of attrition in this game to see who can kind of keep those legs going the entire game long.
Seeing some similar players back out on the field, like Sasha Resnick, who's doing some handling there in the space for Dial-Up. So similar players. We see Jay Carter bring out some water for the team as well. So kind of mentioned this already, but traditional O-line versus a back and forth pod system. Danny, what do you prefer as a coach?
As a coach, I think like an O, flex, and a D is a nice little combination. O-line, sometimes that O-line isn't a particularly good matchup for a specific team. So at last U24s, my O-line was not good against Japan or Singapore, but it would have been really nice to have a little bit of a different offensive look, kind of with a little bit more reps leading up to it. So it kind of all depends. As a player, O-line, baby.
Hey, but defense wins championships, as
O-line loses games.
Our commentator, colleague Ada Kaleande, said. It is true. Resnick. A couple fakes here working against Vesley and having to reset it. Kind of walking the tightrope of this line right now is Dial-Up with Phil Mantell. 15 goals to his name so far in this tournament. Looking to launch this one is Tim Murray. But that throw gonna inside out of bounds.
Yeah, the higher you expose the disc into the air, the more likely it's going to get impacted. Even if there isn't a lot of wind, there is more wind up high. So that disc popped up a little bit and was able to kind of sail out of bounds, giving Notorious another break opportunity. It's a game of runs. I hate saying it. It's the biggest sports cliche on the planet, but it's a marathon, not a sprint, you know?
Well, I'm surprised, you know, the Canadian teams often they'll say get pucks in deep as a hockey analogy, but we'll see if that comes out in a sideline interview later.
Get pucks on net.
Or deep into the zone.
Do we have different analogies for hockey?
Lots, multiple, but Canadians out on the move here. Heather Neary playing some Club Ultimate with Union back in the day. Root looking inside shot. Westlake maybe thought it was for him, but it's actually Bryce Hall on the reception. And that's a second straight break for Notorious OLD.
Seen some nice tank tops out here on the field. If I had arms like that, I would definitely wear tank tops also. Those are Frisbee catching arms out here. Get a nice look at that last inside shot right into space. Absolutely beautiful. Okay, so we're going to talk a little bit about O-line here. So I heard something recently, and it really tickled me. And your O-line should be made up of the 7 worst players in your team that can convert 90% of the time or more.
Why is that?
Because you don't want your best players on your O-line if you can help it.
Because you want them to try to get breaks.
You want your worst 7 players that can convert at a high rate.
That's 8.
And now I'm like, I found my place. Minus the turnovers.
Minus the turnovers.
All right,
here.
so we had a full swing of this game now. So originally it was 2-1 for Dial-Up. All the momentum was on their side. Now Notorious is in the lead.
Things can flip quite quickly, and both of these teams, of course, looking for a spot in the semifinal. This is a unique division we mentioned at the top with Resnick. They're making a nice sliding catch. Club teams here, whereas we saw countries in an earlier broadcast, if you were just tuning in before. A great match between Australia and Great Britain in the Masters women's division. Multiple countries being involved here as well, so nice to see. This division primarily or made up of only Canadian and U.S. club teams. Resnick getting a lot of touches right now is 25 in white. Mantell, the Chattanooga product. Resetting it over to Resnick. We saw a fast-paced offense from Dial-Up earlier. Things slowed a little bit and will come to a grinding stop with a pick call.
I don't want to tell them what offense I think they're running, but I've been watching and trying to figure out, and I'm pretty certain they're running a version of Hex right now.
Okay.
Or it's just quite a fast-moving horizontal. So this is definitely something that I've played before and I've seen before, and they, especially the first couple points, were running it to great effect. It's really hard to keep up with. Boom.
Boom is right. Quick movement. Anthony Grillo throwing the assist there.
So to talk a little bit about what we're seeing out here, it's typically when the disc is in the middle of the field, there's 2 resets behind the disc and kind of 3 cutters across and then 2 cutters a bit deeper. And so basically you're kind of creating a formation where you have less people down, less people kind of like right in front of the disc, working on triangulation, having people leave space and fill space, kind of more a little bit like soccer. So maybe they're not running it like that, but it definitely looks like that to me right now. We get a nice look at that goal. You work that break side, goals just come easily.
The Grillos connecting for the score, so you love to see that. That's always fun. Partners is the Grillos. Actually, Anthony Grillo wrote in his form, he loves watching his wife play. So she wears number 11, is fantastic. So there you go, fantastic with the goal, making it 3-3.
I don't think my husband would ever say that about me. Ari, shout out.
That's tough. Free route now with the disc. And it's route to Neary. Sound like a broken record, but those two have been doing a lot of heavy lifting for this offense. Blue Ann trying to kind of slash across, but so was Neary, and that caused a stoppage in play with the pick.
Yuki, she doesn't get it back again. Yuki, she doesn't get it back again, Yuki. Nick, you're on. Nick, Yuki.
Big around to Westlake. Westlake and Blue Ann played a lot of club ultimate out of Durham, Ontario, so they're used to play a little pitch and catch. Same thing with Bryce Hall, who just had the disc now. So nice to have them all on the same line. Vesely trying to make a play, but it's denied by Enstrom. Enstrom's been quite instrumental so far on the defensive end. Got a couple blocks already to her name.
You could even say instrumental.
No words for that one. Pat Hard now. Finds the aforementioned Enstrom. Resets it to Hard, but nothing really continuing for them. Now shooting deep into the end zone. What a throw from Pat Hard. And they get the break. Wow. Yuki Dunback had 10 goals coming into this game and gets the her 11th. Wow.
I absolutely love that throw. I want more hucks. Very biased, though, because I think the big ball, like the small ball to the big ball, kind of ultimate. And I just like grinding, super conservative, super consistent unders. All right, so we're getting a look at this nice huck here. So as it comes up, you can kind of see where the cut is coming from, and the edge of this disc. So we're pausing here. Because the disc is going this direction and the defender is on this side, the offensive player is able to attack the disc, and the defensive player has no chance. So we saw one of those hucks earlier in the game. That little bit of edge going outside with a little bit of height is incredibly hard for a defender to get, because you're kind of jumping off the wrong foot, as you see, and the other player is able to read an attack. So I would love to see both these teams keep using these throws.
Atkinson has a couple of resets of band, looking for Pardis. And hey, both teams throwing it long out here.
I think they heard me. I'm like, more excitement, more bombs. That flick was also perfectly weighted. That's kind of like a throw your receiver open. Like, I know they were going into that spot. I don't know if they were expecting that throw to come up, but when you turn around and there's a Frisbee coming right into your hands, you're not upset about it.
And if you're a Notorious OLD fan in the audience, you like that your team was able to respond. You just got broken and able to respond with a clean hold, albeit with the pod going left to right on the screen. So we'll see how that grouping going right to left responds now as they're out on defense.
I've never seen an offensive player and a defensive player be so happy. You see the two of them at the end there just giving each other big cheesy grins. Everyone's having a good time out here.
John Eric Pardis already got to the statue, 2 goals and a block. Won a Canadian championship all the way back 10 years ago now, 2014, in his home city of Waterloo with a team called Crash. A couple of those players on this team as well.
Theo, can you tell me the difference between Notorious OLD or old and Notorious KWG?
I feel like Notorious OLD is like their older sibling. A lot of the members of this team played for Notorious KWG.
So it's the next level up.
Next level up. The Grand
right.
Masters version. The Masters version of that team came second last year at Masters Nationals in Canada. Had a little bit of a tougher finish this year.
They still beat my team, so there's that.
There you go. Dial up. Back out on offense here. Resnick absorbed the contact. He's going to keep things moving with Amy Young. Resnick is just buzzing all over the field right now. And going to air this one out. And perhaps too high of a jump there. Trying to climb the ladder was Tom Ditchfield.
Maybe when they were playing back in the senior division, that could have been completed. That hop, the double hop. I really like that throw, that throwing choice, that throwing edge. I understand that you feel that there's that defender kind of coming in, so you need to attack it. In general, these Frisbees seem to be going and fading towards the stands.
I mean, you mentioned this. Both teams are not afraid to kind of launch a disc right now. Lead to some excitement for the fans at home. Bluin thought about the huck. As Dan Carlson quite open. And 22 almost bobbles it. Stays on his feet, keeps possession. That's what you want to see. Stack a little far right now for Notorious. Oh, they'll air it out. It'll be swatted, or caught, I should say, for a block by Dial-Up, and they're out on the move here. Tim Murray. A couple players bunch up in the area, but Chris Church will be the one with the disc now. Big fake from Amy Young. Looking for Resnick, but Vesley getting in the way, but a foul will be called. I like that matchup. Vesley quite athletic, making things difficult for Sasha Resnick, who's been a big-time female matching handler for Dial-Up. Young now. Excuse me, that's Barry. Barry looking to the end zone. We'll find Belle Del Basso. 10 goals coming in this this game, and now number 11.
Hearing those horns, we're getting excited here. Keeping this game nice and close. I like the amount of shooting that we're doing into the end zone. I believe, Theo, that from my perspective, these resets are a little early and a little behind. It's kind of creating some opportunities for turnovers. I know that one ended up going back with a foul foul accept. But I think if they are able to kind of have these resets a little bit better, I think these would be cleaned up just a tad.
I don't know if they can hear us down there, but perhaps when they watch it back, they'll take some tips for that. You mentioned the horns. I want to give a shout out to the DJ down there. Wasn't able to catch his name, but he's been playing a lot of great tunes throughout the weekend. We have a PA announcer out here as well, so especially when that finals day comes on Saturday, there's going to be a great atmosphere. There's a player tent where people are lounging on some comfy chairs out here as well. So it's just a lot going on at this tournament. Hi, Mom. We love that.
You got to say hi to your mom.
Hopefully they're watching at home right now, watching Dial-Up being up 5-4. Close game here in the quarterfinals.
Here we go, D. Here we go, D. Nice pull.
Matt Havercroft. Centering to Thorson. Thorson, stall count rising. Have to air this one out, looking for Blackett. Two hands strong. Catherine West was trying to provide some defensive coverage, but Blackett up to the task. Needs a reset. Finding Havercroft. Thorson. Thought about the inside, kind of shifting the mark here of Enstrom. Enstrom, mentioned already, been a big-time defender. Couple players trying to catch that one. Pardis as well as Havercroft. But that inside shot may be a little too spicy.
Hey, let's go now, P. Hard.
Pat Harder has one assist to his name, finding Catherine West. West having previously played for the club team Charlotte Storm. So some Charlotte, I asked them before the game, they said Charlotte, North Carolina, but kind of like in brackets. Because there's players from all different parts. Listed as Charlotte, North Carolina. Havercroft gets in the way, no foul called. Safe play, looked like. Havercroft go inside for Atkinson. This throw's going to hang, but Atkinson goes up with two hands. Little embrace from her defender as well, making sure everyone's okay.
It's a good answer back. Way to get the disc back in the red zone and then making the nice solid IO break for the score. Now, I have been taking note of a few things that Notorious has been doing on their pull plays, and so we're going to take a little look at kind of how they're setting everything up. So initially they started in kind of this split stack play. So you can see that they're running it on the close side of the screen. So they're a player going this way and a player is running this way to set up their cut. But one thing that I would almost prefer is that this person here is being backed right now at the front of our screen. And instead of just running under to get the disc, they go basically to get their check, and then they cut under into this space. Now, if we pause here again, the other thing that I would like to see this team do is not have this handler over here in this space and to instead wrap around over here so that we have this kind of lane over here open for that cutter.
Now, if you're Notorious old, I'm going to say a pet peeve of mine a little bit is you get a nice hold and then a clean hold, or excuse me, a hold, and then your defense is out there, they're jacked up, and then you throw it out of bounds, the pull. Maybe sometimes that's strategic, but now they have it at the brick mark, so Dial-Up going to be able to run their offense with Tim Murray. Tim Murray, 11 assists coming to this game. But it's going to be Phil Mantell airing this one out. Big sky here. Tom Ditchfield. Wow.
Looks like they're having a bit of a conversation. Can't tell if it's like an injury, cramp situation, but looks like the goal is going to stand. That was an amazing grab up high. Again, just being in a better position, being able to attack going forwards versus trying to defend going backwards. Kind of sound like a broken record out here, but it is very, very effective in Ultimate. So the interesting thing about that setup is that they had 2 handlers back, 3 across, 2 in front, and they were really isolating a player in the middle. Didn't exactly work as they wanted, but it does mean that their offense is nice and spread out so they can get an isolated player in the end zone to make that big grab.
Phil Mantell playing his college Ultimate at the Tennessee Chattanooga. That's where he's from. Also playing for an open club team called Tanasi, who you might have heard of. They've been to Nationals before.
Seen some nice Crocs out here. Did you wear Crocs when you were in high school?
I don't wear Crocs. I didn't wear Crocs then. I don't wear them now. So
just platform Crocs now. High heel Crocs.
I need it. I need it.
Kids wear Crocs in PE. I'm a PE teacher by day. And they wear them in PE, and I make them do backwards shuffling in warm-up, and then they fall out of their Crocs. I'm like, wear running shoes next time.
Do they put it in sport mode?
They don't.
Missing out on the sport mode out here.
Speaking of sport mode.
Back into the action. Thorson. Cardis is going a lot of points, and he's been a big-time player. This one, just not enough air for Atkinson. They linked up earlier the other way around, but this connection not so smooth, at least on this point.
Typically, if throwers in those positions take even just a half breath, or a full breath even better, those types of plays end up connecting. And I think once people learn to take that full breath, it ends up converting at a much higher rate. We have a bit of a timeout being called here, which is kind of surprising.
First time out of the game, I was going to ask you, because this is your
obsession, passion.
Do you like the timeout call right on the end zone line there? Would you rather have them center the disc, gets a little bit of momentum, or you like the timeout call?
I think I'm known for having very strong opinions in Ultimate, and I'm very in need of having timeouts as a coach for double shifting people and changing momentum shifts. So in that situation, I'm not sure I would call a timeout there, but I don't know what they got going on. Maybe that's part of their game plan, and it's none of my business. I'm going to listen in on their timeout call.
And then, hey, I'm on the wide side, and if we get a swing, let's get off that line. If it's not there right away, then it's going to be 30 seconds. Okay, ring to ourselves. 1, 2, 3. What I want to see, ho, don't cram.
Ring indeed.
They're trying to ring in this break right here. Up 6-5. They're trying to get some real momentum. But Danny, the thing I keyed in on was their timeout swinging it off the sideline. So that's something they want to kind of focus on right away.
Coming out of a timeout, though, if I'm the D-line here, I'm going to be wrapped on this mark. I'm going to sit a poach right in front, and then I'm going to have help D. But they're set up pretty honest right now.
Heather Gardner right in front of the thrower. Now it's going to work his way to Ryan Bell. Bell had a couple female matching players going deep and said it's a reset. Phil Galise moving things forward. Finding Dunbeck. That's Yuki Dunbeck. A few partners on this team for dial up, so you're looking for that connection. Thought that was going to pop. There's going to be a foul called by Leah Berry.
A little bit of contact, it looked like, on the jump catch as they're both kind of going up into the air. A little bit of contact on the back. I'm sure they're having a good discussion about it. And it's going to go back.
Both of these teams I've highlighted before on previous broadcasts at this tournament, but both of these teams playing more traditionally with the USA Ultimate rules. So they're going to have to get used to some of the differences here. Great grab from Barry to keep things alive. And then the throw for West is going to hit the turf. Here are the chili calls from the sideline. They know the importance of this point. Been one turnover each. It's 6-5, and a timeout was also used. Pardis, known for a couple of those high release fakes, going to go with the around backhand instead. That's a pretty throw from number 81, finding Matt Havercroft.
What's interesting about that end zone side is they actually had 3 handlers out, which in my experience is very untraditional, unless they're running more of a German style. Typically, you will leave a lot more space in that break area. But if you have someone who can throw pop passes over the shoulder like that, you don't need to do that. You get a look at the turnover there, and then that's that nice, easy, soft, around high release into the end zone. I feel like as a cutter in end zone, if you know your thrower and you know they have that throw, it makes life so much easier. So some of these pickup teams out here that have never played together before, you'll see so many miscues, but that was very clear. They knew what each other wanted.
Good cut, Maddie.
Thanks. Nice cut.
All smiles out here as we are all tied at 6s.
Come on.
More mom shout-outs. We love that. We need more of that.
What about the dads out here?
It's true. That is always seems to be the default when the camera's on. You just say hi, mom. There's no hi, dad. That's interesting. Woman matching point here means Bree Root's going to pull and get things going. Going to see how involved number 25, Sasha Resnick, is. Just going to hand it to Amy Young right now. Resnick was isolated in the middle, but a lot of clustering made her not get free there. Resnick pushing on the under, but instead the disc will be held and scubered by Tim Murray. And a short field turnover here. Looking for Resnick. A lot of lead changes happening in this game, and Notorious Old trying to keep that going. Blouin. Montreal native going with the inside shot to Vesley. Vesley tried to fit it in, but it's denied. Great play by Resnick.
That was a very clutch layout block there. Very, very exciting. Unfortunate for Notorious because you are so close to punching it in to get that necessary break right now. And they've got about 75, 80 yards to go.
Ditchfield might have been hit on the throw. Doesn't matter because Mantel's on the reception. Mantel will find Barry.
Now, as an O-line player that sometimes turns it over, when your line is able to get the turn right back right away and then punch it down in like 2 throws, it's demoralizing for the other team's D-line. So even though that D-line was able to create enough pressure to get a block or a turnover rather, the fact that that line was able to get that disc moving again right away and score in so few passes, it's kind of an exclamation point. Got another look at that D there. So gritty, so fierce. And here's the finishing score.
Mantel finding, want to correct myself, Marja Grillo for the grab, making it 7-6.
I gotta say, they're not looking like grandmasters out here. Some of these plays make my back hurt.
Big time throws coming and fans enjoying the festivities here. Got nice to see as well, all the country flags being represented at this tournament. We already mentioned this, but club teams, country-based teams as well. Got a mix of that.
It's all USA and Canada, though.
In this division.
But they're playing WFDF rules, so it is different for them.
They gotta get used to it. Atkinson launching this one for Blackett. Blackett yet to get on the score sheet for Notorious Old and won't get that on this occasion as well. Gonna call an injury sub too, it looks like. Gonna take herself off the field. Luana Joe gonna come in her stead. Number 9 in blue.
Interesting that Dial-Up didn't elect. Oh, they are electing to take an injury as well. So 1-1 team needs an injury sub. The other team is allowed to substitute someone as well, and it's typically good strategy to get fresh legs out there. Otherwise, the other team just has one player that's kind of a cheat code. So you got to match that energy.
What is interesting though right now is Dial-Up's putting on a male matching player who's come on. Luana Joe, woman matching player that was taking the place of Blackett. So some strategic subs from both sides here. And Mantell, who just threw the assist earlier, out on the field to perhaps bring some throwing prowess. Pat Hart has an assist to his name, going to launch this one out. And not going to work out for Nick Dunbeck. That one just too much of a laser.
A little bit of chaotic cutting in front of that handler from my perspective. I think if I were that thrower, I would have maybe tried to bounce that disc off the sideline right away, but the cutters are kind of squirreling in front, so it made it a little bit tense, a little bit tight, and we saw that as evidenced by the throw.
Green on the mark here, trying to make things difficult for Havercroft, but this will continue to move over to Thorson. Power position. Throw not going up. Had Matt Rothwell going deep. Great reset defense right now, forcing this high stall punt, basically. So you love to see that if you're a Dial-Up fan. That was Pat Hard putting on some great defense.
Whenever there's a late stall punt, that's a team D. It gets everyone excited. Everyone on Dial-Up was doing their job.
Trying to get this break. Excuse me, a hold. No, that is a break opportunity here. Seeing that on your screen. No foul called. So Old will get the disc back. Thorson. Couple of fakes shifting around the mark. It's going to be a high stall situation again. Reset to Rothwell. Rothwell zipping it cross field. Pardis can't get both hands on it. Tried the left, but it just bounces in and out of the mitts.
One thing Notorious is doing often is when they have the disc and they're picking it up after a turn, is that reset is engaging a little early. We got to look at the late throw there, the throw at the end. Like them to engage a little later.
Saw a flat mark from Pardis. Trying to make the huck difficult. Mantell had to go up for that one a little bit. Still in the breadbasket, but had to jump up. Faking the open side backhand huck. Doesn't really draw a movement from Pardis on the mark. Great effort from Enstrom. Misread it the first time, had some time to try to get there, but 3 turnovers apiece by my count on this point.
This would be a good time to call a timeout if I had them. Oh, amazing.
They heard you. KWG Dial-Up locked in a close one here. The Americans up 7-6. First half action coming at you right now. Notorious OLD, this is an offensive point for them. There's been 3 turnovers apiece. Dial up from the North Carolina area, up 7-6. Grandmasters mixed here at the 2024 World Masters Ultimate Championships. Theo Wan joined alongside by Danny Proby.
What's good?
Bringing you some great action here. More to come, so stay tuned for that. There's going to be also a game under the lights later. I'm excited for that one, Open Masters quarterfinal. Atkinson feeling the pressure of Enstrom, who's been buzzing around defensively. Inside shot to Havercroft. Pardis now trying to continue it. Finding Luana Joe, who had come off for an injury sub, come on I should say, and makes an impact right away.
Every time they hit a break off of that sideline, it is magical all the way in for a goal. So Notorious needs to keep working that first inside-out throw, set up everything else downfield. It's a thankless job because it's usually like the hockey assist or the hockey assist to the hockey assist. Is that a thing that Americans know? We call it.
They got hockey out here. A lot of players actually from this tournament went to the Anaheim Ducks game.
That's true. So we're going to get a look at some of the miscues that happened. So that throw, like a good idea, just trailing a little bit out the other way. And this one, just a late stall trying to get some field position.
Notorious old, I should say. Going with a power line here. So they have some players that go left to right on the screen, like Havercroft. He's moved over to this line as well. So they're trying to get a break, get things back on serve. They did start on offense here. 2 breaks right now for them. 3 breaks for Dial Up. Dial Up going with more or less a standard offensive line. Big pull here from the aforementioned Havercroft. And we're underway for this point right before half. Some call it Galaxy point. I might not say that too much, but this is the point for half. Chris Church dishing it over. Movement happening quite quickly. Now a shot going up. I'm not sure if that's the right edge on it, but it will work out. Huge outside in throw, finding Tom Ditchfield. Got a double-double to his name already in this tournament. Look at that.
That was perfect execution of their, hex set, fairly certain. They're absolutely so good at hitting those kind of undercuts and then doing the give and goes along the sidelines with the chisel cuts and then bouncing it all the way and getting that nice isolated open look in the end zone, keeping all defenders engaged to leave somebody completely open for a nice goal.
Tim Murray throwing that assist for his first of the game. And we're at halftime here. And as we're at the halftime break, both teams, of course, getting a chance to reset. Perhaps getting under some shade cover, which is nice. Making sure they get some coverage here. As we take a look at the stats, some holds, of course, but not necessarily the cleanest of holds, but the break chances, there have been more for Dial Up, and they've only been 33%, but they do have the lead.
Now, Dial Up started with 2 breaks to start the game as well, so Notorious Old was kind of able to make that back. So going into the second half, Dial Up's only up 1 break, so if you're Notorious, you're feeling a little bit like the momentum is more in your corner. You're starting to generate turnovers. You're starting to be able to punch them in a little bit more easily. So both teams should be feeling pretty confident going into the second half.
Dial Up 8-7 here at half, and we're joined by Andrea, otherwise known as Belle Del Balso. So thank you for coming on here for the sideline interview. A lot of back and forth, especially with breaks, a few of those for both sides. What was the key for you to stick it through some of those runs?
You mean for the breaks or for the holds?
Getting some holds after being broken a couple times.
Yeah, so I think we had to really focus up on our offense and thinking through running our game and what we're setting out to do, which is basically we want to keep our offense set spread, and we want to try to swing our disc, use the whole width of the field. It's 40 meters or 40 yards wide, whichever system you're using, and so that's what we were trying to do with our offense.
All right, thank you, Andrea. It's Danny Proby here. I wanted to say hi to you, by the way.
Danny.
How you doing?
Good. How are you?
Good. I'm loving how quickly your team moves the disc, and I would love for you to tell me a little bit more. Like, does each of your lines have a different offensive set? Because that last offensive set in particular moved really, really quickly, had more handlers back and more isolated space deep. So is that something that your team has been working on all season? Or if you could tell me a little bit more, that would be awesome.
Yeah, so it's good to hear your voice. I haven't seen you in a while.
Yeah.
So we have been working all season. So we try to run hex offense is basically what we're trying to run. And so, we want to get the disc out of our hands by stall 3 or stall 4. We want to basically keep the D on their heels. And so we're trying to move our offensive players into open space just to try to hit the first open hands that we see. But kind of as a secondary to our hex offense is we're really trying to utilize that deep space, because a lot of times people just think, oh, hex is just short give and go throws. And that's part of it. But a big piece is we want to use that deep space. So we've been working on that this season in particular.
Now, I love, because of the hex, because of the quick movement, all of the defenders are engaged. You're not seeing a lot of poaching happening from their team. On the flip side, what is the defensive strategy your team has been implementing this half, and if you're going to be making any adjustments for the second half?
So I think our defense is getting some turns, which we're really, really proud of. So our defensive strategy is to essentially play underneath our opponents and to make it really challenging for them to get to the disc. So we will switch up our mark depending on what we see that's working. Sometimes we throw a flat mark, flat to flick, or flat to backhand. Sometimes we just do backhand or flick, if you will. But we want to suffocate every movement on the offense. So we don't play poach. We play in our opponent's shorts on D.
I mean, it's very, very evident.
Thank you, Andrea, and we appreciate you joining us here at halftime.
Yeah.
Wish you the best of luck in the second half.
Thank you so much.
Dial up. Trying to dial up a win here as they're up 8-7 here at halftime. Halftime here between Dial Up and Notorious Old. Locked in a tight contest here in the Grandmasters mixed quarterfinal. 8-7 the scoreline. Margins razor thin right now. We're joined fieldside by a member of Notorious Old, Matt Havercroft. Matt, thank you for joining us here at halftime. Tell us what you saw there in the first half from your perspective.
This is the first time we've got to come up against this team. It's been a great half so far. They have really been running us hard. They've got some very big looks. On defense, they are causing us to have to look how to move the disc a bit quicker, and I think that's going to be a focus of ours the second half, making them move a lot more, having to grind them down a bit more.
Awesome. And now they're running their offense quite quickly and doing some give and goes and kind of slashing around. What defensive adjustments is your team talked about to make in the second half?
So we've talked a bit about our handler defense position, trying to block some of their upline looks while also then taking away the back. From the cutter position, we are trying to look for where we can bookend a bit more on some of their big strikers, as well as not giving them any of the free resets that they've been getting.
So, Matt, you're a Canadian out here playing in this tournament here in Irvine, California. So why don't you have a chance, or you get a chance right now to shout out some Canadians perhaps watching at home.
All right, I'm going to say hi to my wife, Emily, my kids, Ben, Charlotte, and Sam. They'll be in school and work right now, but I'm hoping they'll get to watch this later. So, hi, guys. Love you.
Sounds great. Thank you, Matt. Wish you and your team the best of luck here in the second half.
All right, thanks a lot.
Dial up, Notorious, old. This would be a good second half right now, folks. As the team in blue, that's Notorious, old, starting out on defense. This is going to be a woman matching point, hence why Blackett is going to be pulling. And Havercroft just coming from the interview right onto the field, so love that. No rest here.
It did seem like, hey, hurry up, ask a question. Let me say hi to my wife and kids and get back on the field to play some Ultimate.
Blackett's pull going to go right into the brick mark here for a dial-up as they get things moving with Amy Young. Now it's Resnick. That throw a little dangerous. Grillo finding Young. Resnick's defender Joe blew a tire. And now Resnick with the disc. Resnick looking for a dub also, but that throw not going to work out.
I like the look. It was very, very close. They were moving the disc. They had all the momentum kind of going that way. But now Notorious gets the much-needed opportunity to get a break back.
Blackett now with it. Atkinson facing some tough defense. Got the catch, but not able to complete the next throw.
Yeah, a lot of defenders, a lot of offensive players kind of moving around where the disc was rather than rainbowing all the way around.
Rillo finding Resnick. Joe on the mark. Resnick going inside shot. Throw's going to pop up. Good effort. Will it be in bounds? I think there's some discussion to be had. They're celebrating, but
from way up here, it looked like their feet may have actually been on the ground. It might be a perfect goal. We're going to get a nice look at it here. So the throw's up. Body's in the way. Feet inbounds. But were the feet on the ground the whole way through while the contact or the catch was being completed.
So
the catch right there. Catch. Now it's whether the feet and legs were down before the arms. Hearing that timer music going.
Jeopardy music, right?
We got Jeopardy up in the house.
So I mentioned the person running the jukebox has been on point all weekend.
So we're calling it a goal. Absolutely incredible. That disc went up. They had to change their whole momentum going from one direction to the other direction. Accelerate past a defender, make a layout catch, keep the feet in bounds. That was an incredibly athletic play. So you see them trying to actually change direction, accelerate past to make that clutch play. For the hold, nonetheless. Now, the interesting thing about Hex offense is that they don't usually actually run pull plays. They're just looking to the hat or the person in the middle of the field to be initiating, and then everyone just kind of works off of them. So it's a little bit easier to call lines, to call the pull plays, rather, on those lines. But we're going to get a chance to see Notorious's offensive sets again, and I'm going to guess it's going to be a split stack. It's working.
Yeah, the telestration earlier showing us what was going on as Catherine West set to pull. Second consecutive woman matching point here. That was a hold for this dial-up side.
A dirty hold. Do you say that in broadcasting? You're not supposed to.
An unclean hold.
An unclean hold. Murky hold.
Need some tide to wash out that hold is what you're saying?
Yeah. A little bit of a dominator set we're going to look at right now. Sort of 4 people engaged in at all times, but really tight defense.
Martin has no choice but just air this one out and swat it down by West.
Under, Nate, under. Far side.
Pat Hard. He's got it loaded up in that flick grip as they're trying to take a 3-point advantage here. Grant Gardner. Heading West. West needing a reset. Blue Ann will get the block. Good heads-up defense from number 24. Vesley now. Getting back over to Martin, moves it quite quickly to Blue Ann. Looking laterally so fast, already on the other part of the field after that block. Looking for Westlake for the score. They needed that one.
Now, it looked like an easy throw. It looked like an easy catch. But to make that throw along that sideline with the defender on the inside hip is not as easy as it looks. So that's a great hold for Notorious. So we get another look here at that offensive, or the first offensive miss with incredible defense by Dial-Up. Followed by the clean pickoff and then that throw. So you could throw that throw flat. You can give the defender an opportunity to pick it off. If you throw it too floaty, they could pick it off. So it was perfectly weighted, right on the money.
What's on?
Blue Ann, at the ripe young age of 44 years old, still playing in the senior circuit out in Canada.
Giving us some nice dance moves.
Playing with Durham Hound.
Continuing to give us a really good game up here. I haven't seen either of these two teams play before, and I am very entertained.
Resnick now receiving that pass from Mantell. Joe drawing that same matchup again. Mantell had Josh Green going deep, but had to come underneath now. Mantell again. Little juke cut from Church will get free. See that formation of that hex they've been talking about? We're talking about a half. Quick movement, Church. Del Balso. Can't even say the name right away because of how fast they move the disc here, Danny.
That's Hex offense. It's incredibly annoying to defend. The angles of attack are also different, so if you're used to playing defense like an open side under defense on a horizontal stack or a bracket on a vert stack, it's completely different cutting angles. The movements are different, the throws are different, so it can be quite challenging, especially for Masters and Grandmasters age players.
Tim Murray going with the hammer, finding Church. Church, doorstep. Squeaks it in, and I mean by the thinnest of margins to Mantell.
Now, the thing that I like about how this team is running their Hex offense is they're not afraid to lose yards in flow. It's almost like when they don't kind of have their connections and their give and goes happening downfield, they're kind of pulling the disc back again to be able to make throws like this. So they reset, they recharge, and then they're able to attack again. So Notorious really needing to get a break while these players are taking a break. Those are my teammates, actually.
And the U.S., a little Canada-U.S. connection out here, taking in the sights. Love that.
We had a pretty spirited game against them, I thought. (10-8) the score here. That's just dial up one break right now. Notorious really needs to start stringing together a couple breaks in order to win this game.
When a team scores and they play can't touch this after, I love that.
Especially when it was like that tight 2v2 kind of at the front
exactly.
cone. It's perfect.
Yeah, D, let's go!
Are they offside on that pull? No worries.
It's right at the camera-ish.
So if you are a Canadian player or an American player watching this, this is one of the major differences in the rules with WFDF and USAU rules, is that when the pull goes out of bounds, and US and Canada, we will just center it from where it went out of bounds, but in WFDF, you either choose to take it at the sideline where it went out or back at the brick.
Neary, the southpaw with it. Couple players coming around to the same space. Eventually finding Nate Martin. Martin's partner, Hillary Blackett, a big-time goal scorer. Out called here. That's Spencer Rhodes. That was defending Bryce Hall. So Dial-Up had a chance to go up 3 earlier, weren't able to, and this is another break chance. Can they cash it in? Phil Galisa's throw won't help that cause. Vesley is bursting deep, drawing multiple defenders, leaving Root free. Root against Enstrom. Inside shot looking for perhaps Neary, but it's Bryce Hall who then will find Neary for the score. Not sure if that was the intended target, but it works out just the same.
And a little, oh, Canada. And some sirens out here getting the audience all hyped up. I know you can't see them on the screen, but there are people watching below us in the commentator's booth here and in those nice beanbags that you saw earlier. Right now we got a 1-point game. Get another look at this just out of bounds call. Can't quite see the feet, but we definitely trust that the defender that's watching has a pretty good perspective. I feel like that was the intended receiver. All right, so Notorious with the gritty hold, keeping this game within 1 here.
When are they going to start doing those power lines? Because we saw that at half. They weren't able to be successful there. Are they going to try it again soon? I mean, there's still time on the clock out here.
There's lots of time. We got 33 minutes left. Have fun.
Atkinson with the pull here, a flick pull. Amy Young. Rocking the double zeros. Ditchfield moving things along. Partis trying to get there, won't do so. It's Murray. But then it looks like a pick was called. Thought maybe a travel, but Murray had kind of powered up a backhand throw, was ready for that one. Has Chris Church to his left, if he elects to go there. Resnick. Forward and trying to go now. Resnick's just all over right now. Snagging with the right hand. Low throw. Doesn't work for Del Balso though. So Notorious old chance to tie up this game.
Pretty uncharacteristically sloppy end zone in my opinion. One too many people out, not allowing there to be much space on the break side, so they had to keep jamming everything up the open side as we take an injury sub here on the field. As we mentioned earlier, if one team elects to take an injury sub, the other team is able to switch somebody in, so we had a double switch happen here as well.
I like that they put on LP Bluan to come on the field here. Joe. Lorson almost had that taken away by Del Balso. Now it's Bluan, power position. Havercroft going deep, but it's Atkinson underneath. Atkinson sees Havercroft, but he turned underneath against the defenses of Church.
I like that look. I like that receiver. I totally understand why that throw came up. It's tough if you feel in your heart that you might be a little deep and you're setting up an under. It's a pretty common misconception.
All right, we're too deep. All of us are too deep. Unders, ladies. Yeah, Maddie, I'm in your ear.
Atkinson, the pressure, but Resnick up to the task. Now they're out on the move, but perhaps too fast. Party's getting a block, but don't even know if he swung it with his hand. Bluan coming for the injury sub and pays dividends right away as Havercroft finds him for the score. And we got a tie game, folks.
Couldn't be a better timed break for Notorious. They really need to start applying that pressure and punching those in. And maybe that injury sub was pretty pivotal to them be able to capitalize on that turnover from Dial-Up. Now the thing about the Hex offense and the defense that I like for Notorious there is that when Dial-Up is kind of doing their from behind chisel cuts, if you do slough off and wait, you can often get blocks and poach blocks on players that are not your own.
Bluan has been a big part of this team, but so has his teammate there, number 81, John Eric Pardis. Been a big part of some of their attack. 2 assists, 2 goals, 2 blocks to number 81's name. He's doing it all with a smile on his face. He had a really nice, nasty, no-step backhand break on a flick force. And finding teammates from all over. Just had that block there. I said maybe he didn't see it, but he definitely saw it both eyes and swatted it with the left hand.
Definitely a high impact player, but even more than that, smiles, high fives, just bringing a lot of joy and happiness to the team.
This delay makes me suspect there was a timeout call, Danny, because
I was just so enthralled with that highlight package.
I was like, we have enough time for this long highlight package. There's definitely a timeout being called.
The 2-2-2-2.
Unclear who took it. But hey, the 4 twos, you ignore the 2 turns if you're watching this back, John Eric. But
You just say receiver error.
yeah, the 2-2-2-2 out here.
Now, I personally would love to see Notorious try a little bit of a force middle sluffy situation to try to stop the quick movement from this Hex offense, but we'll see what they're doing here on their own.
Similar pieces on the field like Resnick. Del Balso as well. Leah Berry been playing some O-line. Shot gonna go up. Great grab, Phil Mantell climbing the ladder.
Grabbing that disc emphatically up in the air. So nice clean hold for dial-up is exactly the answer that they want back. Great timeout call. Allow your offensive players to grab a quick sip of water, regroup, calm down, go back out there and get the job done. So this is a know thy receiver, put it up, allow them to go snag it out of the air.
2 assists, 2 goals. Playing for a Masters team called Old Number 7. There's a few of those players on that team that got second at Masters Nationals all the way back in 2018 with the team called Old Number 7. Grant Gardner was part of that group, Jenny Newby, among others.
Fun fact, at Masters clubs in Ireland, my team, I played for Cold, played against them, and we lost 15-3, I think.
To Old Number 7.
Yeah.
There you go.
And then we played them in quarters and beat them by 4.
Oh, I don't think they want to hear that part.
I don't know how that happened.
They only want to hear the first part of that story.
I mean, it was awesome. But you said how many players? That was from 2018, you said.
There are a few of them. A handful, we'll say. Man matching point here.
Nice call.
Here we go, D. Here we go, D.
Yeah, Katie, this is yours. This is yours, Katie.
Havercroft centering with Thorson. Thorson basically playing every point for this pod. Same thing with Pardis, it looks like. I mean, you got the 2-2-2 going. Looking for Havercroft. Look at that, putting on a platter, just not in the end zone. Josh Green trying to chase that one down. Havercroft will find Atkinson for the score. This has been a heavyweight battle, Danny. Both teams swinging back and forth. Some breaks earlier in the game, and especially in that first half. But things really settling in now. Of course, Notorious Old got a break to make it 10-all.
Notorious running that split stack play to perfection over and over and over again. And normally when I'm calling pull plays, I will often make things look like it's the same thing but do something different. But in this circumstance, you see them kind of running the exact same thing again. So you see there's a clear going this way, and then we're going to have the under coming this way. And so they run the same thing again. Defenders nowhere near. But this time, instead of running to go get the check, we just had the under on its own. Obviously missing a little bit of a continuation initially, but when you have throws like that and receivers like that, it doesn't matter. You got that space. So I love these split stack plays. It allows for it to be really clean. You're usually 2-on-2 or 3-on-3 with most of the field to work with. On the flip side of that, if I'm dial-up, I will see those two players setting up like that, and even though it's a male matching player and a female matching player, you can work some switches, you can work some helps from the 3 side because they've clearly been running that same play, that plain same setup over and over and over again, and I've yet to see dial-up make an adjustment.
Pull out of bounds from the team in blue out of Ontario, Canada. Southwestern Ontario, we'll say. They have some players from the Durham area, too. A couple of them on the field in Westlake and Hall and Bluet. But a lot of players from the Guelph, Kitchener, Waterloo area. For dial-up, they're listed as Charlotte, North Carolina, but I see some hometowns from all over. Tim Murray from Niles, Michigan with the disc. Now it's Mantell finding Church. Church evading the attempted foot block from Martin. Up the line now and trying to zip it forward is Tim Murray. Mantell with the left foot down. Gets the grab, 3rd goal of the game.
I saw Notorious trying to do a little bit more sloughing in the lanes off of the handlers, but dial-up was able to intelligently swing the disc and attack kind of down the rails of the field in order to kind of capitalize on the fact that we have some handlers that were unguarded. Dial-up just making use of open players, making good choices, and hitting people in perfect spots.
Hitting crunch time in this game, folks. 12-11 the scoreline. Old back out on offense here. Hey, it gets warm out here in California. Bring out the umbrellas. And both teams have the tents. I saw them both go there at halftime, and that's smart, right? You got to conserve the energy in a long tournament like this.
You got this, D.
Thorson finding Kelvin Journal. Inside shot to Pardis. Pardis looking for Hillary Blackett. Not there.
It was a different pull play, and it didn't work. So maybe they should go back to Ye Olde Faithful. So they ran it a little bit similarly, but hit something on the opposite side with a slash, and it just created a different throwing window. Obviously, great pressure by Dial Up.
Let's go, Money.
Tom, they're going to need your help.
Lil Galise trying to make things happen, looking for Yuki Dunbeck. It'll be a past half field opportunity here. Attacking part of the field for Notorious Old. Havercroft. Three handlers set in this vertical stack. Trying to go inside shot to Pardis. John Eric now with it. Finding Thorson. Thorson and Pardis doing a lot together. Pardis looking for Blackett for the score. Atkinson was in the area, but Blackett will get credited with the goal.
All right, both teams trading out here. 12-12, nearing the end of the game. I love seeing tight games. I feel like every time I'm in the commentator's booth, it's a good game, so I should just stay up here. Theo, I have a question for you, though.
Wait, that means you're done playing for the tournament? Is that what you're telling me?
No, relax. Got Australia on quarters. It's going to be a barn burner. Okay. 3 handlers out in end zone. Have you ever played that set before?
So, Notorious KWG also runs that same set. So they do run the 4 cutters and 3 handlers out, and they took that from another team out of the Kitchener-Waterloo area PPF. So some of those players had brought that in. So I think it's just a carryover of that system.
You didn't answer my question. Do you like it? What do you think of it?
I'm more a traditional 2-handler out kind of person. As we get a look at Grant Boyd, tournament director for the local organizing committee, want to give him some love for all the hard work. Look, he's on the phones making deals right now. So putting out fires, making sure everything runs smoothly. So thank you, Grant, for all your work. Jacket's kind of nice, though. Huh? I know that's what everyone's thinking in the audience. That jacket is what the kids call fire.
I don't know if they say that anymore, Theo.
Oh.
Your age is showing.
Well, hey, I'm at the Masters Championship, so you know. Leah Berry with it. Finding Resnick. Said that name many times. Church as well. Has it just currently. Mantell caught it, but there is a pick called. Resnick going up the line. What a blade. Maybe he plays a little mini out there, does Tim Murray. And then Tim Murray will get it on the receiving end with Mantell. Those two definitely play mini out in the southeast region. They gotta. Wow.
Both of those look like goaltimate throws if I've ever seen
That's
them.
what I mean.
Just trying to scoop it right into the arch kind of thing. I don't know if I've ever made that type of throw when the game's 12-12 and the disc's on the sideline.
Hey, they trust the throws out here. So they're going to go with those blades. Like you said, goaltimate makes more sense. You're right.
Blade push pass. If you're a young person watching this at home, don't do what they're doing out here.
Try the throw or don't try it is what you're saying.
I mean, well, it depends if it's a tryout or not.
That's true. Dialing up some highlights right now of Phil Mantell. Been all over the field with 3 assists and 3 goals to his name. So So almost contributing almost half of the points for this team. Squeaking one in from Church. Can also take to the skies with the right hand. 15 goals coming into this game. See why. That is actually wild. Oh, it's a coin throw. The Rowan McDonald coin throw is what I
was going to say. We need to get that Rowan McDonald YouTube video out with all those different throws.
Wait, just throwing up a coin here.
All right, well, they're cashing them in, so no worries.
Time is ticking on both teams here. This is the real, what we call the red zone, I would say. Or kind of crunch time in volleyball when it's 2020. Taking some different sport analogies out here. Rothwell. That throw is going to evade Monica Kirkhoster. And dial up a chance for a break. Dunback was going deep. That was Nick Dunback, but they didn't see him. West is poached and no one has hit her yet. Now she receives a disc. Enstrom coming under. No throw coming just yet. This throw just has to go up, but it will work out. Pat Hard gets the score and a huge, and I mean huge, break for this dial-up side.
Yeah, Notorious is on the doorstep of elimination. Their backs are against the wall. They got to go 3 straight to move on in this tournament. Dial-up is dialed in. They're ringing it in.
We're going to use as many phone puns as we can. I'm just going to tell the audience.
Hashtag awesome. I guess it's £.
Nick Dunback from Oceanside, California, making that throw. Notorious Old electing not to call a timeout here.
All the USA fans.
Endless Sunset, a team in this division.
Beautiful jerseys.
Yeah, I like that. Do you remember, this will be a throwback for the fans, but do you remember when Johnny Bravo had their, they had the Bravo logo but had USA on it? This was for Worlds, I think back in 2014. That was one of my favorite jerseys I saw because they incorporated the letters but also using their own logo. Kind of fun.
Shout out 2014 Johnny Bravo.
Shout out. Timeout taken here. Makes sense here as Old down 2 points, Notorious Old, as they're trying to master up a comeback here, and Dial Up has other plans as they're trying to bring their way to the semifinals. It's do or die time here for Notorious Old. Their championship hopes are on the brink right now as they're down 14-12 here. Theo Wan, Danny Proby in the booth. We thank our production team, Aiden Shapiro, Layton Kelly, Rusin, bringing things for you out here, making us look and sound good. Camera operators also out in the hot sun. Root finds Blue End. Havercroft now, power position, had Neary. Settles for a reset instead. If you're a dial-up, you just want to tire out this offensive line. You don't necessarily need a break here. You can hold for the win. Notorious Old has to score 3 straight, though Westlake under some pressure from Pat Hard. Neary gets that one on this close sideline. Mattel out on the field trying to take on Blue Ann. Westlake, a very calm reset to Blue Ann. Tight defense, but Root does get free. And a muffed catch from Bryce Hall. You do not want to see that if you're a Canadian fan in the audience right now at this juncture of the game. Can he get it back on defense? You know he's going to work hard to try to make that happen. Hard now. Mantell was free, but he's going to go reset instead to Grant Gardner. Gardner, another Tennessee native, just moving things forward now. Pat Hard has Mantell going deep. He's going to rip this one, but it'll go right into the hands of Blue Ann for a block. Both teams playing a lot of points in this game, of course, with this one going basically the distance. So fatigue going to start to become a factor here.
Looked like almost a contested catch slash block, but both players agree. Notorious keeps possession.
Luan looking for Hall. Hall gonna make sure of this one, like the redemption for number 96.
From my perspective, you are a great teammate if you give a teammate who just made a mistake, especially if it's an uncharacteristic one, another opportunity to kind of get it back, because there's a lot of ultimate, especially catching, is quite psychological. So if somebody is making a kind of a tough play along the sideline and just misses it a little bit, to be able to trust your teammate and then shoot to them at the other corner and give them that opportunity to get it back is just, yeah, being a good teammate. It's just like being a coach. If one of your players makes a mistake, you try to put them back on the field as soon as you can. Get them out of their head.
Timeout has been called here. Makes sense, the scoreline the way it is, and Bree Root trying to dial up some lines.
D-Money. Free. Carly. Mary. All right, let's go here.
Yeah.
Hard D, sideline, everyone else.
Go, no choke.
Which shorts, no easy passes here.
Okay, here we go. No toe on 3. Let's go.
Let's go, Blue.
1, 2, 3.
No toe.
Let's get it. Let's go.
Offense taking the timeout, Danny. Do you like that?
I mean, you're allowing the Notorious players to kind of catch their breath. Right now, you've got 2 opportunities to win this game. I almost would have liked to keep Notorious a little tired.
Del Balso's out on the field, Mantell. Of course, Resnick going to be out there.
All right, backs against the wall. Notorious really needs to apply a lot of pressure to this quick-moving offense. Get a stop, and then take a breath, punch it in. Because we want Universe up here.
Hey, last time you were up here, there was Universe. So.
I'm the Universe pony. Universe unicorn,
right,
if you will.
I like that. This is a true power line here for Notorious Old, combining both pods for this grouping. Bree Root set to pull. And here we go. Potential heartbreak for one team and jubilation for the other as they look for a spot in the semifinals. Tim Murray finding Leah Berry now. Nice little inside shot finding Ditchfield. Ditchfield has Mantell. He'll hop in for the score. And Dial Up is ringing their way in to the semifinal round.
Great fight by both teams. Really putting all of their athleticism and precise throws on display for us in the commentator booth and for you at home as well. Big hugs all around. Very, very gritty win by Dial Up to go up a few, to kind of lose their advantage, and then to maintain for the rest of the game.
Started things off with a break. Win 15-13. That was an underrated cut there from Tom Ditchfield. Kind of just stopped, waited for that inside shot, trusted his thrower. That's really important. Mantell hopping his way in. And jubilation on one side as this dial-up team is headed to the semifinals. And taking a look at the game stats, what do you see there, Danny?
You see a very similar amount of holds, but a very dissimilar amount of clean holds. And so what that says to me is that even though Notorious was turning it over at pretty much the same amount that dial-up was, they were able to get it back often and able to get the conversions anyways, as we say, dirty holds, whatever, murky holds. This game decided by one break. Couldn't get any closer. Even though the game was decided by 2 points, it's still one break. So Notorious ended up having 7 break chances only, dial-up having 14. So technically on paper, Notorious's conversion on their break opportunities was a much higher percentage.
What a game that we had here, and we have more action for you coming up. We're going to be dormant for the next round, but 3:30 local will be back. Dial-up celebrating right now, and we're going to be joined field side by Phil Mantell, who went off this game, going crazy, getting some assists and some goals. And Phil, I have to ask, that blade push pass, like the coin throw, what was going through your mind when you made that throw?
The guy I threw the push pass to usually throws the blade to me, so I figured I'd throw the blade to him. Then he threw a push pass to me. Like, why not end it with a push pass, right?
All right, sounds good. That's a good, fair answer.
Yeah, he was looking at me. The defender didn't really see it in his defense. But yeah.
So you're going to the semifinal round.
Yeah.
I say that to you now. What are the feelings that comes from that statement?
I mean, we've been working hard all year. We do weekly workouts. We run track. I feel like we earned it. We lost an easy game, fairly easy game that we thought we would get to Baby Maker. But I guess the draw came out pretty good because we didn't have to face Surly or Molasses Disaster, who did beat us at Nationals. But we gained a few people. We picked up a few for Worlds. So I think we have a really good chance.
Now, I love hearing that you're doing a lot of track workouts. It was definitely on display. Your tight under defense on Notorious was suffocating for them. I'm curious, from this game to the next game, what things are you going to take with you that you can build on, and what things do you want to leave behind?
The game before this one, we run a hex. So they were poaching the middle a bit and pushing us out. So we did, like this morning, work on that, like work on around the poaches. If you haven't noticed, we like swing it out more to the side. That's why we had those big shots into the end zone. Do just more of that.
Yeah, I absolutely love seeing the Hex. I played a season of Hex myself, so when I saw you all playing it, it was very exciting to me.
Yeah.
I felt like you all did a really great job of moving it through all of your players at all the times.
Yeah, we try to use our ladies. We have really strong ladies.
Very fast women, for sure.
Very fast women. Good hands, good defense.
Yeah, Sasha Resnick was all over the field for your team.
I mean, she's always a bailout or a big swing. Yeah.
Phil, thank you for your time. Go and celebrate with your team. You're headed to the semifinals.
All right, we're excited. Thanks.
Phil Mantell joining us, and we do appreciate all the great scenes here. Get a great shot of what we're seeing out in the booth, and you talk about action. Canada, Australia at 3:30 Pacific on this showcase field. Wow, oh wow. We got a matchup for you. Make sure you tune into that one.
Oh, cute little kiss. All right, so interestingly enough, all the Canadian teams have been knocked out in this division, so it's USA versus USA versus USA versus USA in the semifinals.
And it's going to be a highly contested Grandmasters mixed division. We'll have the final for you tomorrow, so stay tuned for that. Phil Mantell, a big part of this team, but there were contributions all around. Mentioned Sasha Resnick getting involved in big aerial moves as well. Dial up, throwing a little mini style throws. Look at that push pass. That's how you take a game in style here as they're headed to the semifinal round. They take down Notorious Old 15-13.